This is Algebra 1. We're on lesson 2-3 today, so one step multiplication and division. So, review of vocabulary from yesterday. Inverse operation. Quiet raised hand. What is an inverse operation? You already defined this in your notes yesterday. One person knows? Everyone should know. You can just go back and look at your notes. And Gunnar, can you close your laptop? Thank you. Let's go and give it to Monse.
The operation that goes backwards to the original operation.
That goes backwards. To undo the operation. I would say the original operation, I guess. Was that part of our definition, or do we just say the operation? Okay, well, that works. I guess I could have made it a little bit more formal. So I need to be making sure to reward people for their hard work. So Monse, you just, that's why I can't find anyone. Algebra 1, there you are. Monse, there you are. 50 XP, and then the warm-up was done by Andres. No, who was it? It was Jose. And then Andres did kind of show a different way of doing it without doing work. I'll give you some XP. While we do the same thing both sides. So again, we've already seen this before. I'm just trying to get this constant review in here. So in this case, we have two unknown blocks. So do a question mark block, another question mark block, and we have maybe, let's say, 4 of these 1 kilogram blocks. Again, an equation is just a fancy way of saying you have this equality where a scale says this side weighs just as much as this side. Of course, it would be nice to just remove 1. We say, oh yeah, subtract 1 of these, but you can't subtract 1 because you don't know how many to subtract over here. But what you could do is you could say, take half of this side and half of this side to keep the balance equal. By taking half of 2 ends up being just 1 of them. So it is kind of like subtracting 1, but you're really dividing by 2. So take half of this, half of those, and you're left with our question mark block is equal to 2 of those 1 kilograms. This is the idea of multiplying or dividing both sides. So here is the equation equivalent of this metaphor, I guess. So we have this equation, 2x is equal to 4, and we took half on both sides. So we divide both sides by 2. I'm going to do that in a different color. So divide by 2, divide by 2. And after we do that, and I'm going to pause here to make sure that you're copying all this work. This is exactly how I want you to show your work, by the way. I know that some of us can do this in our heads. We'll say, oh yeah, just divide by 2, and I see that the answer is 2. Get used to showing your work because these problems do get more advanced. They will start having decimals. They will start having square roots and harder things. So when I do that, I get x is equal to 4 divided by 2, which is 2, and I box my final answer. So far, so good. No questions. This is review. We know what we're doing. We're bored. We want to move on. Let's go on to example 1. All right, solve this equation. What are we going to do to both sides? I see 1 hand, 2, 3 hands, 4 hands. Josie, go for it. By 8, yeah. So right now, the reason that we're dividing is because 8 is being multiplied by w. We're going to do the inverse operation of multiply, which is divide. So we're going to say divide by 8, divide by 8. We have to do it to both sides to preserve that balance. When I divide by 8, 8 on the top, 8 on the bottom, those cancel each other out, and I am left with just that w. Just w is left behind. And then what is 24 divided by 8? Someone else? Cohen? Thank you, Cohen. And Josie. There you are. Is equal to 3, and don't forget to box it. Again, like anything, you can check your work. So to check your work, we're going to rewrite that original equation. So the original equation was 8, and there's the w that we're going to be substituting into. We're going to leave parentheses, is equal to 24, and substitute that 3 that we found for W. Multiply them together. 8 times 3 is 24. So 24 equals 24. We have a true statement, a true equation. Therefore, we got the answer correct. Give yourself a giant check mark. Yep, we did it correctly. No questions up to this point? All right. I need to make a note to myself. Move this to the right for the next time. All right, so for example 2, what are we going to do to both sides of the equation? How do we undo this 4 that's happening down here? Quiet raised hand. How do we undo it? I see Josie's hand. I see Fernando's hand. I see Cohen's hand. I see Sergio's hand. I see Jose's hand. Fernando, go for it. Multiply by what?
4.
Yeah, so we're going to multiply by 4. This is how you write it. Multiply by 4 on both sides. Just by putting it in parentheses, that means multiply. So that's how I would like you to show your work. When you multiply both sides by 4, 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom, they'll cancel each other out. You'll just be left with the variable y is equal to, and Fernando, let me give you your XP before I move too far. The 4 and 4 cancel each other out. And then we're going to shout what 9 times 4 is at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
36.
There it is, 36. And box our final answer, as always. All right, for 50 XP, someone explain how to check your work. Walk me through the process of checking your work. I prefer someone that hasn't participated today so that more people can get XP. Someone that hasn't participated today. Andres, you did the warm-up, kind of. Someone that hasn't participated yet. I want to hear from you. How do we check our work? Yeah, go for it, Sergio.
So you do 9 times 4.
9 times 4, so just like this, 9 times 4.
Then equals 36.
I'm confused on what you're trying to do. 9 times 4 is 36, but how does that check the work? Somehow I have to use y equals 36. Yeah, go for it again.
Okay, 36 divided by 9.
Ah, okay, so now you're substituting in right here. So 36 was substituted in. 36 divided by 9
And then
equals 4. So you're really, really close. But notice that the original equation right here is the one that we need to start with. So it's y divided by 4 is equal to 9. Here's y divided by... Okay, go for it again, Sergio.
So y, okay, y 36, and then 4,
4, okay.
and then equals 9.
Equals 9. And then is 36 divided by 4 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can say 9 is equal to 9. We have a true equation. Yeah, so when you're checking your work, always start with your original equation. Just like our last problem, we started with 8w equals 24. 8w equals 24. Start with the original equation when you're checking your work. All right, and we do have a backside. The backside, I just want to give you one taste of what decimals and fractions will look like on the problem set tonight on Khan Academy. So now we have this problem. And again, I need to make a note to myself to put that to the right-hand side. All right, what am I going to do to solve this one? Quiet raise hand. It's the same people over and over. Monse, go for it.
Okay. Multiply 2.2 on both sides.
2.2. Why did you decide to multiply by 2.2 on both sides?
Because it's the opposite of division.
Yeah, so multiplying is the opposite of division, and then you notice that 2.2 was being divided by,
T.
yeah, or I should say t is being divided by 2.2. I said that backwards. Yeah, so when we do that, the 2.2's cancel out, as you saw, and then we need to figure out what 2.2 times 4 is, a review of those decimals. Ooh, how do I do that? Raise your hand if you want to solve that for me. Monse, there's your 50 XP. See Josie's half raised hand, full raised hand now. Yeah, Josie, tell us how to do it. It is 8.8. How'd you get 8.8? Okay, so you just know that 2.2 times 4 is 8.8. Yeah, that works. 8.8 is the answer. 8.8 is equal to t. And for those of us, because calculators are not needed for all of the problem sets, so if you want to try this the long way, so if I have 2.2 times 4, just as a bit of a review for decimals, I'm going to just multiply 4 times 2 to get 8, 4 times 2 to get 8, and then I count up all the times that the decimal moved. So the decimal didn't move here, so I don't have to worry about it. It moved once there, so my final answer is going to move once, 8.8. Whenever I multiply, I have to count the number of times the decimal moved for the top and the bottom. That's how you do decimal multiplication. All right, so Josie, thank you. And I need someone to walk me through checking my work. Andres.
So first it's 4 equals 8.8.
So we're subbing in our answer here. 8.8
divided by 2.2.
divided by 2.2. So the original equation is in blue, and that is our substitution.
And 8.8 divided by 2 equals 4.
Yep, so you can
4
say
equals
4 on the left, and then 8 divided by 2, 8.8 divided by 0.2. Both of those are equal to, yeah, the whole thing is 4.
6.
And you don't need a box, you can just say, yeah, we're good. Yeah, our answer is the thing that we boxed. This is just checking our work. All right, questions on any of the notes today? All right, we have 3 homework assignments, so after you finish doing the summary and checking someone else's summary to see if you can add to your own summary, then we have 3 assignments.